Okay, guys, Nathaniel here. Today I want to talk about using the boundary to defend the back take.
So here we have my friend Lisander on top in the black key and his opponent Nicholas Duffy in the white key on bottom. He's in a deep half position here, and if he can slip his head underneath, he has a pretty good chance for the back. Nice. Looks like Nicholas was able to make it through, and he came up and tried to come up to the back. Looks like Lisander here is going to go for a tripod defense where he tries to base up and shoot Nicholas over top. Let's see how that works out. Great. So it looks like Lisander was actually able to defend the back take. Eventually, the refs decided to restart them in the middle. One thing to note is Lisander ended up using a lot of energy to defend the back take here, and when they got reset, they reset pretty much in the same position. Let's see what he could have done instead. So here we have a match between Ari Farias and Mikey Musumeci. Both are world-class level black belts, and Mikey is about to come up from 50-50 position into a back take. Let's see what Lisander could have done to defend the back take, as they're both near the boundaries. Ari decides to stand up, back up, and go out of bounds. The referee just tells them to stop here and is going to reset them in neutral position. Let's see what happens. Interesting, nothing. Ari didn't flee the mat in any kind of position or any kind of submission. He didn't flee the mat in any kind of takedown either. And so since he fleed the mat during a transition, and it could be argued that he even fleed at all, it could have been just a natural defense. The move here is, the rules say here that you restart both competitors from neutral position in the middle. Really good because Ari is already up here, one advantage to nothing, and he's in a winning position versus Mikey Musumeci, and Mikey kind of has to play on the offensive. So one of the biggest rules in IBJJF is that if you flee the mat in a submission, that's an automatic DQ. If you see here, Tommy actually has a rear naked choke grip on Gabriel Arges. Second, Tommy actually has the both hooks in, and so even if he didn't have the rear naked choke grip, they would have actually reset in the middle with both hooks because he has a secured back position. And so it kind of defeats the purpose, or at least takes away a large benefit of fleeing the boundaries. I think the third and most critical mistake is that Gabriel here pretty clearly just walks out of bounds. And if you make a pretty blatant disregard for the rules, the judges will punish you. Okay, so let's look at another match from the Pan Championship between Levi Jones-Lear and Hamza Canuto. This is probably one of the most viewed matches from that year and one of Levi's breakout performances. Levi here has a good body lock in Canuto and probably wants to get into a crab rack position. Awesome. So if you see here in the top left corner, the referee decides to restart them, but Hinato does the same thing. He kind of rolls out of bounds and pushes the scramble to the out of bounds because he knows that the referee is going to stop them. But what's interesting to note here is actually you should pay attention to the advantages and the negatives of the competitors. And let's see what the referee decides. Interesting. So how come Hanato got a negative and a 2 point, and Levi got his 2 points here? Well, the thing is that it doesn't really have too much with fleeing the mat. The fleeing the mat was pretty obvious because Levi had actually both hooks in, and so fleeing the mat in a position like that is going to be 50-50 on the negative. But because Hanato already had two negatives, the third negative is an automatic 2 points for Levi. So fleeing the mat isn't ever, for a back kick, isn't ever necessarily going to give your opponent the win or even points, but you need to be paying attention to what's on the scoreboard at all times.
Okay, guys, so that's using the boundaries to prevent the back take in competition. If you look at the top guys like Leandro Lo and Buchecha, those guys are really good at understanding what their win conditions are in every situation. Let me know if there's any other tactics or rules you want me to discuss. That's all for now.